Hundreds of farmers protested outside a meeting of EU agriculture ministers in Brussels over the bloc's handling of EU-Russia relations. The EU has 150 million pigs and is the second biggest exporter of pork after China. But the bottom has fallen out of the market since Moscow placed a ban on agricultural imports from the EU in response to sanctions imposed on Russia over the crisis in Ukraine. The European Commission is proposing to establish a €500 million aid programme for farmers.
The proposal is a mix of immediate measures and long-term measures which, when taken together, will contribute to addressing cash flow difficulties and the functioning of supply chain, as well as establishing the markets.
Because of the Russian sanctions, the widening gap between demand for EU agricultural produce and supply has seen prices plummet for EU farmers. Campaign groups point out that although EU retailers are now paying much less than they previously did for dairy and meat products, they have not passed on that price reduction to consumers, many of whom are already struggling because of the ongoing economic crisis in the bloc. The EU produces 150 million tonnes of milk each year from a herd of 87 million cows. But since there is no longer a Russian market, much of the produce is wasted. Some EU legislators say that the sanctions imposed on Russia have backfired, and they were put in place originally under the direction of the US so as to boost business in that country.
For Europe, it's a catastrophe. It's a real catastrophe. So I understand very well that US want sanctions. They are very good sanctions for their business. And now, for Ukraine, it's a very bad situation. For Russia also, and for Europe, it's a very bad situation.
Many EU farmers say the support measures just announced by the European Commission do not go far enough, and the only effective solution is to normalise relations with Russia. Jerome Hughes, Press TV, Brussels.